Rebuilding after divorce doesn't just happen. Momentum isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And if you're waiting to feel motivated before you move, you'll stay grounded. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact steps that I've used to build momentum quickly in the comeback from my divorce. Not someday, but right now. But first, let me be clear. If you're still deep in the wreckage, you need to face that first. If you skip that part, go watch this video and then come back. But if you've already sat in the fire and you're ready to get up and move, this is how to do it with clarity, not chaos. Most guys after divorce stay stuck because they confuse motion with momentum. They chase distractions, fill their calendar, but what they don't have is forward momentum in the right direction. Momentum doesn't come from huge bursts in random directions. It comes from stacking small, intentional wins day after day. Think of the 100-watt light bulb versus the laser. 100-watt light bulb lights this room. 100-watt laser will cut through an inch of wood. And when those wins start to align with who you're becoming, everything begins to change. So this is your post-divorce momentum protocol. Now, these aren't hacks. These are the reps that reset my brain. They help rebuild confidence and certainly stabilize my momentum one day at a time. It's not everything you need, but think of these as your emergency procedures. So these are the things that I did right away. Wake up time. I locked this thing in. I got up at the same time every day. I took the alarm, I pushed it across the room because I didn't want to get out of bed. Normally I'm pretty good at that, but after this, I just wanted to lay there. But by doing that and forcing myself out of bed, I got my day started and started to change my habits and get back on track. Okay. Secondly, first thing I did when I got out of bed was go out and drink a half a liter of water. If you haven't stayed hydrated, if you don't know what that's like, when you do, especially after 5 or 6 days, you're going to wonder why you didn't do it your whole life. When you stop doing it after you know what it feels like, it's pretty miserable. So get that water in. It's huge. And then some sort of physical challenge every single day, whether it's just going for a walk, whether it's going to the gym, lifting weights, whether it's jumping on an elliptical trainer, whether it's taking more stairs, as simple as that. Do something, commit to something every single day, because that not only starts to rebuild your body, it'll get your head right. And then one mission task. Think of one thing that you are going to commit to absolutely get done that day. It could be centered around your job or your financial situation. It could be centered around the physical piece. It could be centered around relationships. Maybe you have adult or teen children, or you want to bring some of your friends or mentors or family back into the fold. Pick one thing that's going to move you forward in an area of life and get it done. And then lastly, and this is huge, 5 to 10 minutes of reflection or meditation. For me, it's meditation, but it could be as simple as journaling, but take some time to reflect, whether it's gratitude, whether it's thinking about the things that went sideways, whether it's picturing what it is that you want in the future, work on it. After we split up, I didn't have all the answers, but I did know who I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be one of those miserable, woman-hating red pill types. So I gave myself one order. Don't wait to feel ready. Just do those daily reps. It's not about going from zero to hero overnight. It's about flipping that switch in your brain from reactive mode to intentional. Next thing, don't get stuck in a loop. This is your stuck loop, and these are the things that will help you build momentum. Snooze. Like I said, get out of bed. Don't hit that alarm. If you have to, put it on the other side of the room till you get used to it. Instead, wake up with intention. Set the intention the night before that when that alarm goes off, I'm going to be out of bed within 30 seconds. Next, scrolling, Facebook, Instagram, they're distractions. If you're not learning something or it's not helping you move forward, instead, focus on becoming a creator instead of a consumer. Find the things that will help you rebuild and create your life. Second guessing. Everything that you do, thinking about, am I doing this right? What if I would have done this instead? It's in the past. It's not doing you any good. So by taking these little actions and committing to doing one thing every day, you start to develop this micro discipline and it builds momentum. Every time you do it, you rewire your brain and make it easier and more likely until eventually it becomes who you are. This one's huge, self-pity. If you're a victim, yeah, it hurts. I get it. You can feel sorry for yourself for a couple days, then snap out of it. If you're a victim, you can't change anything. Victims are helpless. Sometimes it feels good to be helpless, but it doesn't move you forward. In the long run, it'll make you miserable. So movement, moving forward, physical movement, getting out and doing stuff, taking those walks in the morning, they make a huge difference in the way you feel, and it'll help you start to clear this stuff up. Finally, seeking comfort. Again, looking for the easy way. Sometimes that's thinking about going back no matter how bad it was. Or eating potato chips, laying around watching movies. That's okay at the very beginning while you're working through it, but you got to get up and get out of that loop and instead start seeking clarity. Look, you don't need a new plan. A plan is a set of actions that you do to achieve a particular thing. What you need is a new protocol, a new way of living, a new set of rules that you function by that cover all of your plans. So for me, it started with the wake up time. I locked it in. Same time every day, no negotiation. Straight to that half a liter of water as soon as I got up. And then I didn't work out first thing in the morning. I went a little later. I go to the gym 3 times a week, have and still do. But walking, I got up and I went walking every day and I worked up to 10,000 steps a day. Now, of course, that depends on the weather, but by combining that with listening to Audible, I was able to learn, lift my spirits, and at the same time, man, fat started melting off. I started feeling really, really healthy and good. And it just, by the time I had done that for a month, I was bouncing instead of walking. It felt amazing. Social media distraction on my phone, I avoided that. I didn't touch it until noontime. Now, that's not to say I didn't pick it up out of habit and try to do it a couple times, but I made it a point to recognize that and point it out to myself every day and say, nope, not going to do it, no matter how hard that was. Break that habit. And then again, some people like to journal. I enjoy more spending that 5 to 10 minutes in silence or meditation. Sometimes I use an app. Sometimes it's box breathing. And sometimes I just sat there and reflected. So here's the thing though. At first, I didn't feel like doing any of it, but I knew one thing. If I waited till I felt ready, I'd probably still be stuck. This structure saved me from the tailspin. It gave me traction. And those actions, those tiny actions were the rope that kept me from sinking in the quicksand. And then they pulled me out. Lao Tzu, remember? Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. And this is how you start creating a new destiny. Lastly, what does this look like time-wise? So here's a timeline map. So first 10 days or so, you're going to start to feel a reset. If you do these things, you're resetting your body and you'll start to feel a little bit better, and you work on simplifying your decisions by just getting out of bed when the alarm goes off. You don't have to decide, am I going to lay here or not? By drinking that water, you don't have to decide, am I going to feel crappy and be dehydrated? You set those things and you commit to them, and you can add little steps. You can add a step every couple of days, something that you know that'll move you forward. By about day 11 to 20, if you keep doing these things, you're going to start to get a little bit of clarity. You're going to feel a shift, and you're going to have a daily structure that you're starting to put in place. And you may adjust it. You may adjust it for the next 6 months until you get it dialed in. By the time you get close to 30 days, you start to feel an identity shift, and you'll feel a big burst in your energy. And finally, the source of all of this energy is brotherhood and your micro wins. I want to build a brotherhood here of guys that don't want to just lay down after things go wrong and be miserable and, again, hate women and blame and all those things, but instead want to get back on their feet, start to build something epic, realize that you've got your whole life in front of you. Even if I'm 56 and I'm planning on sticking around at least another 30 years, these are going to be the best years of my life. I want to see guys become more valuable and more attractive, and not just physically, but all the way around, so that you can go out there and find, when you're ready, find the right person so that they come to you and not the other way around, and you drop that neediness. You get through this flight plan and you stay consistent, and you'll no longer be just surviving, you'll be rising. And then you realize there really is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you're not just moving towards it, you're accelerating towards it. Look, you don't have to feel ready, and you don't need to do everything perfectly. But you do need to start doing something, and the right something, especially when you don't feel like it. Time doesn't heal, action does. And that 5-step protocol, it pulled me out of my wreckage. If you're tired of feeling hopeless and stuck, this might just be your way out too. So that was the emergency protocol, but I put together a detailed checklist that's based on the exact protocol that I followed after my divorce. It is the same one that's helped me rebuild quickly my discipline, direction, relationships, and get my edge back when everything felt like it was just falling apart. And it's built around the same written in blood structure that was used in my actual combat flight checklist. If you want it, drop the word rebuild in the comments and I'll send it to you for free. And hey, if you're planning to start dating again, not necessarily right now, but in the future, and I hope you are, but you want to avoid emotional chaos and low quality connections, click here for the next video. Dating over 40, do this first or you'll attract the wrong woman. I'll see you over there.